Hello bros, I'm Uncle Zero, bro for production, and next part, Sakura Night 3. So, last time, it's actually been like half a month, like 2 weeks or so, but it's been Christmas, it's been New Year's and so I've been pretty busy from doing clips, but I think I really want to see what happens next. One thing though, before we continue reading, she might actually not be completely gone after this fight is done, because I saw a picture from a card that I won, and she might actually appear a little later on if this continues a good while. So let's just jump into the story. Saga holds up one hand, magical energy begins to gather on her paws, so hot and bright it makes me wince. I won't let any of these setbacks stop me. I have come too far for that. Listen, you foolish girls. I shan't let you get the better of me. I am Saga, and I will become the ruler of Lemuria through sheer force of will. I will summon an army of monsters and destroy Gimori. Then you will have no choice but to take me seriously. You will all be sorry for making fun of me then. Maybe I trip over my own words sometimes, and I have a stutter and I'm kind of clumsy. But none of that will matter when you all are too dead to insult me. The time for my vengeance has come. I will rain despair down upon your heads like those likes of which you have never known. I will doom you all to the name of the woman I love all over else, who was slain by Cressida. I am doing this for Gunhild. I hope that she can see me now wherever she is, and I hope she knows that I will never stop loving her. I am her most loyal servant. I adore and venerate her above all else, and nobody can stop me. Now prepare yourself for the battle of a lifetime. I won't go easy on you. 3, 2, 1, she's down. Approximately 1 minute later. Yeah, pretty much. It's only 1 minute, but I said 1, 2, 3, she's down. That's it. I've gone really fast, and from what I can see, we didn't even get a scratch. She apparently has been wounded at 3 places from what I can see. My. Oh wait, this is a new picture actually. Well, actually, how long have we even read? 3 minutes. Yeah, we continue a bit. We continue to the next picture. My. Is that all you have? I can scarcely believe you fell so easily after making such a grand speech. I thought you said this would be a battle of a lifetime. I fought stronger slimes than you. Oh ho. Saga lies on the ground, pinned beneath Felicia's heel like a lowly bug. Her clothes are torn, and a few cuts and scratches are scattered across her dusky skin. Her chest is pushed against the hard rocky ground in a manner that could be called comfortable. Her eyes are beating with tears of humiliation. Her body quakes and a little sobs fall from her mouth. She looks so utterly defeated I can't help but feel sorry for her. Yeah, there's a lot of the story left. I thought she would actually be stronger. The battle all happened so very fast. I'm not really sure what to make of things. One moment Saga was challenging Felicia, fire in her eyes, and the next she was pushed down and pinned. I didn't even get the chance to lift my own weapon. Thor didn't cast any spells, and Rune didn't use her claws. Yeah, Felicia is a bit scary. Felicia took care of everything in a split second. This isn't fair. I can't believe it. Saga whimpers pathetically. I worked so hard too. I've been doing my best all on my own for years and years. She lived I lived in this dark, stinky, mossy cave and I lived in nothing but funny mushrooms all the while trying to practice my magic. I just wanted to do Gunhild proud. Why weren't my best efforts enough? Tears began to drip down Saga's cheeks. They're hot and wet and perfectly round like penny pieces. I love Gunhild. I love her so much, so why wasn't I able to accomplish my goal? How did you beat me so easily? To be honest, I'm not entirely sure of that myself. It over so fast felt too strong. Her sword go flash, Saga go splat, she fell. It was quite a anticlimactic final battle. I don't really get it. Haven't you been using your magic to summon all sorts of horrible monsters? Why didn't you command any of them to fight us? I would have, if I could, but Saga's lower lip trembles. There have been a few issues with the monsters I've summoned. They're all defective in some way or another. They don't seem to listen to me. I'm the one who brought them into being, but they don't listen to my commands. They leave me the moment they are able, and they cause havoc in the woods of their own accords. They don't respect me one little bit. I wanted to train them into an unstoppable army, but it's just not possible. Saga kicks her legs back and forth weakly all the while her tail sways. My monsters don't listen to me. Nobody listens to me. I don't think I ever would be able to conquer Grimori even if you girls hadn't come to stop me. I was just all talk. Huh? Then you mean? My bro first. When you spoke to me in my dream, were you bluffing? That's right. Saga sniffs. I thought if I talked myself up, I'd be able to go through with my dastardly plans. After all, I really didn't mean to destroy Grimor, you see, and all of Lemuria with it. I still hate this country. And I hate you too, little knight. Hate your mother for killing Gunhild, and I shall never ever forgive her. I want to make you all feel the pain and sorrow that I felt when my beloved died. But I can't. All my posturing was in vain. All my efforts too. I'm a complete failure. Now I see how idiotic I was. It really was impossible for me to beat you. I was, and always have been, a huge screw-up. Sniff. Hick. Saga tears continue to stream down her face. Her eyes are rimmed with red, and her nose is starting to run in a most undignified manner. Her pride is in tatters, for each scanned that into the dirt alongside her statuesque body. Saga's already lost the woman she loves most in the world. What else does she have left to lose? I can't even begin to comprehend how awful she must feel. Her plans were wicked, yes. She meant to cause untold hurt and suffering across Lemuria, but her revenge was not entirely unprompted. She was doing it for Gunhild's sake. Gunhild has been dead for over 2 decades, but Saga still can't forget about her. She loves her. I guess even wicked demon queen have people who adore them. Does that mean nobody in the world is undeserving of love? I guess that's kind of sweet in its own way, but Saga must realize there's a flaw with her plans. Even if you had been able to destroy Grimor, it wouldn't bring Gunhild back. Your love for her is commendable, but it's also foolish. You wouldn't gain anything if your plan succeeded, but all the people living in Grimor would lose a good deal. If you love Gunhild as much as you say you do, you should understand how much it hurts to be parted from somebody you care for. Eh? Nick? Saga sniffles. She sucks a strand of not up her nostril, looked at me balefully. Of course I understand that. I was, well, aware that my action would hurt people. I tried to tell myself that I didn't care. I thought that was a necessary part of my revenge. I wanted everybody to suffer. But maybe I was mistaken. I still love Gunhild, even now. I still think of her every day. When she vanished from my life, I think I went a little crazy. It feels like there's a hole where my heart was. I tried to plug it up with hatred and anger, but that wasn't enough to ease its ache. It only made it worse. I thought the only way to stop my hurt was to pass it on to others. But I don't truly want to cause other people pain. I don't want anybody to feel the way I do. Maybe that's why I was unable to fight at my full capacity. Because all of these stupid contradictions. I'm tired of being alone. I don't really want to hurt anybody. I also want to see Gunhild again. She's the only person I care about. She means more to me than anybody else. And without her, my life is totally empty. Yet more tears streamed down Saga's cheek, glimmer in the green light of the layer, which makes them look like shooting stars. Maud rushes in sympathy with Saga. She's a villain, yes, but she's so clumsy and bumbling she was never able to put her plans into motion. There's been an uptick of monsters in the forest because of her machinations, yes, but she never caused anybody any serious harm. She's too incompetent for that. Even scheming and plotting isn't really her forte. She didn't do this out of hatred, she did it out of love, and it's because she adores Gunhild. If only there was a way to reunite them. But that isn't possible. My mother killed Gunhild with this sword which I now hold in my hands. Gunhild is dead. That is what I always thought, at least, but I actually thought this. I thought Gunhild might actually be alive. Why is it always right about these things? I'm not always saying them, but the times I have said them, they have actually come to intuitions, and it's at least as many times as I've said them that has actually been true. Come on, Saga, why are you crying? That is most befitting look for one of my minions. If you sob so, I fear that will reflect badly upon me. Nobody will be able to respect me if my own underlings cannot respect themselves. What? Oh? The sound of this cue is still not entirely unfamiliar. Voice makes all of us in this cave raise our heads. Yeah. There's somebody else in this cave with us. They're sitting upon the tomb. Saga once occupied one leg folded and amused smile playing about her lips. Okay, I'm gonna take a wild guess who is actually sitting there. It's the baker. Why am I always right? Well, I was thinking it was suspicious why she had a sprite when nobody else did, that was much more familiar did. It didn't. It's a young woman. She has golden hair tied back in two cute stubborn braids, and she's tied not in the clothes of a demon queen, but in a demure dress and apron. I have no idea how she got here. I suppose she could have walked, but wouldn't have heard her footsteps. Given the ceiling of this cave is so high, all sounds echo terribly. Rune and Tart would have been able to hear her at the very least. This woman shouldn't be here, but she still is. Maybe she used magic. She doesn't look very magical though. In fact, she seems perfectly ordinary. I know who she is, of course, but seeing her here is quite a shock. What business does she have here? Aren't you the woman from Grimory's bakery? Yes, indeed. The baker smiled brightly and clapped her hands together. The sound rings through the cave like a celebratory peal. And you are Estelle, daughter of Cressida. I know all about you and your exploits. You're quite famous in Grimoire. I must say I never did think I would meet Cressida's daughter. It's quite a small world. And as for the rest of you, the woman glanced between a ragtag party, her expression gentle. You are Felicia, you are Rune, and you are Tart. I know we have met many times before, but not in the circumstances such as these. It is a pleasure. Thank you very much for patronizing my humble shop. I really do appreciate it. I spend a lot of time in my on my baking, and nothing brings me more joy than seeing cute girls such as yourself consuming it. What? You? Look at the bag with uncomprehending eyes. Though I know her, I feel like I'm seeing her for the first time. I just can't understand why she's here, or how she got here, or who she really is. Well, let's take this one question at a time. Excuse me, but, who are you? Yes, I am rather curious about that too. Felicia lifts her foot from Saga's rump. Saga sighs in relief, then surveys the flaxen-haired woman with the folded arms. I thought you were a normal baker, but I can see now that I must have judged you too hastily. You are rather more special than you appear, are you not? Special, am I? Well, I wonder. The baker grins. One does not like to flatter oneself. As of now, I am a perfectly ordinary woman. I rise early in the morning to bake bread, and I while away my days serving customers with a bright, cheery smile. I really am a humble baker. But that wasn't always the case. My past is quite colorful, yeah, really. I was such a rebellious youth. I had quite a short temper, and I was always getting into scrapes and causing trouble for other people. I was unmanageably quite out of control. You don't have to take my word for it, though. Of all people in this cave, you know more about my past than most. Don't you, my dear Saga? Saga, who's been slack-mounted and silent this whole time, suddenly jerks into action. She approaches the baker and swaying legs and stares amazed. This can't be. You can't be her. I must have hit my head or something. There's no other way. This isn't possible, isn't it? Impossible? Bigger brow creases. Why do you say that, my dear Saga? Aren't you glad to see me again? I'm surprised you didn't run to me with open arms the moment you saw me. You claim to love me, but your love must have a fickle thing indeed, if you will hang back now during our reunion. To be honest, I feel quite hurt. No, I didn't mean to offend you. It's just, this is also strange. You look just like her, and you talk like her too, but you can't be her. And what makes you say that? You should know, everybody in Lemuria knows. You're supposed to be dead. That little knight, Saga stabs a finger in my directions. Mother killed you. You were defeated. You were my most beloved Lady Gunhild, and I thought you could never die. But I was wrong. You were slain, then you disappeared. You've been missing for more than 20 years. How could you be her? It doesn't make any sense. Oh my, you have so little faith in me, Saga. Do you really think a human woman could ever best me? It is true, everybody in Lemuria thinks I was defeated, but they're all mistaken. Cressida fought hard, bless her heart, but she was not mighty enough to best me. I can excuse the common man for believing such a tall tale. But I never imagined you would be foolish enough to believe I was dead, Saga. You really are naive. The baker who Saga addresses Gunhild, but who cannot be Gunhild, grins. Once I was known and feared through about the land as the wicked demon queen. But now I'm making an honest living managing my very own bakery in the middle of the moor. It's hard work and I hate getting flour under my fingernails, but it's rewarding. I love the smell of baking bread and I especially enjoy watching people bite into my pastries. I'm very satisfied and I couldn't be happier with my new relaxing lifestyle. Baking bread is much more fun than splitting skulls. What? But this is impossible? Gunhill grins. But you are looking at me now and conversing with me. This is no illusion. I really am real. I even give you a hug if you don't believe me. Touch me, sniff me, you can even lick me. I'm real and I'm not going anywhere. But this whole time I thought you were dead. I thought Cressida killed you. You're not the only one. There's about draws into a thin line. What in the world is going on? This story is getting all screwy. I'm having a hard time keeping up. Esty. Hey, Esty. Rune tugs at my skirt with one of her pawns. Did you know Gunhill? No, she alive. Did your mother say? What's going on? Yes, Dad. Your mother is the one who's supposed to kill the Gunhill. Surely you should know if that really happened or not. Did your mother ever tell you about her battle with the wicked demon queen? She did a couple of times, but that only when I bugged her. She didn't really like telling me about her past. She said she was worried I want to follow in her footsteps and become a knight. She always been overprotective. She didn't want me getting hurt. She said she defeated Gunhill, so I didn't need to take up arms. She said she defeated her, but did she say that she killed her? I always assumed she did. That's what everybody says, but... I look at Gunhill. She's sitting upon Saga's throne, toying with her a few strands of her blonde hair. She grins and gives me a little wave when our eyes meet and I have to turn my head away. She is surreal. I never thought I'd meet Gunhill, the wicked demon queen my mother supposedly killed. But really, can we even stranger that fiction sometimes? If that woman really is Gunhill, if she's sitting with us and talking to us, then I guess my mother never did kill her after all. All this time she'd been alive. Yes, indeed. That is precisely what I was trying to tell you all. Because might be brave, adventurous, but you're not particularly clever. I thought long enough for the penny to drop. As you can see, I'm not dead. While it is true I fought with Cressida, she was not able to kill me. She gave me it her best shot, believe me, she did, but I resisted. I would like to say I had the upper hand during our duel, but that would be a lie. We were evenly matched. For mere human, she was surprisingly strong. Her skill with the sword were unparalleled. I never met a woman like her since, and I'm grateful for it too. Back in my day, I was an immensely powerful mage. My skills have deteriorated a bit over the years, though. If I had to fight for my life again, I'm uncertain if I could come out on top. But never mind, that's beside the point. My battle with Cressida raged on. We were at it for hours. We pushed one another to our very limits until, in the end, we were both exhausted. Cressida was so tired she could no longer pick up her sword. I, meanwhile, had exhausted most of my magic. We were at an impasse. As we could no longer fight, your mother resorted to words instead. And what she said sounded with my heart. I shall never forget what she said to me. Gunhill pressed one hand to her chest above her and placed it so her heart beats. She told me that she was not fighting me for fame or glory. She fought only so she could protect the country she loved and so that her future children would be able to live in peace. She said she had no real ill will against me as a person. If we could settle things peacefully, then she would be only too happy to lay down her sword. She was not a violent woman at heart, and she hated the sight of blood. Her dream was not to be a famous warrior, but to be a baker. She wished to live a quiet, peaceful life alongside those that she loved. When she told me that, I scorned her. I said I was a fool to lay. I said she was a fool to lay her life on the line for such a small, insignificant dream. But she responded very calmly that I was mistaken. My dream might seem insignificant to you, she said, but it is not so for me. I don't know why you seek to rule over Lemuria and why you wish to cause others harm, but surely there is more you want to do with your life than cause misery. Something must have happened to make you this way. You probably had a dream once, like I did, but it was stolen from you. Come, try to remember. What was your dream? Did you ever want to make anybody happy? Surely you must have done. I don't think anybody is truly irredeemable. There must be a germ of good inside you waiting to sprout. Why don't you water it? Naturally, I scorned her. I said she was a fool with a bleeding heart, and her softness would get her killed. But I couldn't bring myself to try and fight her after hearing all that. It was a soft speech, and I had resolved to remain unmoved by such words. I told myself I had no need for pretty pleasantries, but she sounded so very serious. I was born a demon. My can is marked and revealed across all of Lemuria. I vowed from a young age I would enact vengeance upon all those who had made me miserable, and in so doing achieve happiness. But I was not happy. Subjugating others did not cheer me. That night, though, her dreams were far simpler than mine, but she spoke of them earnestly. She believed every single thing she said. She told me there was more to life than bloodshed and revenge. She told me to think of simpler things. She told me to seek out my own dream. Hers was to make pastures in a tiny village, away from the public eye. I thought it laughable that a skilled knight such as hers should wish to waste her talents and live in obscurity. But her resolve swayed my heart. She sounded so convincing, I began to wonder if she was right. Perhaps I had been wasting my time. Hurting other people would not bring me happiness, but perhaps making them smile would. I thought of it long and hard while I sat there with that night. Both of us too weary to strike one another, and eventually I had a change of heart. I decided maybe my way of going about things was wrong after all. I was a demon queen, but I couldn't kill all my emotions. I still wanted to be happy. And I thought that perhaps like that night, living quietly and peacefully might be the best way to do that. After that, I decided to stop being the demon queen. I wanted to stop being Gunhild. I put my past behind me, and I tried to follow that brave knight's example. In a sense, I suppose she did kill Gunhild. She quelled the hatred in my heart, and she so killed the wicked woman I once was. She made me come to my senses. She bested me not with her sword, but with her words. I admitted my defeat, and she smiled at me brightly and said that I would not regret it. Huh? This version of events is quite far removed from those I read in poems and heard of in celebratory songs. Everybody said my mother killed Gunhild. Was that not the case? So then, my mother let you go? She did indeed. But make no mistake, she was no coward. When she was first faced me, she was meant to kill me. Each and every one of her blows would have been enough to fell me if they had connected. She was a kind woman, but she would have done anything to protect her kingdom. She was even prepared to stain her hands with blood. If I had ignored her words, I'm sure we would have come to blows again, but I didn't have the strength to try and fight her after all that. Connor smiles in a very gentle expression despite her serrated teeth. She looks quite unlike the wicked demon queen I heard bedtime stories about. I thought Gunhild would be far more fearsome than this, but she looks like an ordinary woman. She doesn't seem crazy, she can hold a conversation, and she isn't chomping at the bit to exterminate us. She's a lot more normal than I imagined. It's a surprise. I wonder if it surprised my mother too. Estelle. Gunhild looks at me. You are fortunate to have a mother like Cressida. She is very kind-hearted. I never met anybody like her before. My mother is nice, yes. I always thought she was a bit too overprotective, but I know that because she loves me. She has a very big heart. She does indeed. Any other knight would doubtless have killed me while I vacillated, but Cressida was honorable. She did not take advantage of my indecision. I truly believe she wanted me to be happy despite all the pain I had caused. She's no longer a knight, or so I've heard, but she was the most brave and valiant warrior I ever faced. I'm very grateful to all she has done for me. If it weren't for her, I might be dead by now. I would have been slain, if not by her blade, then by other less forgiving knight. She gave me a chance to seek happiness, and I took it. I disappeared, and the world thought I had died. I took a new name and decided to live a humble life as a baker. I could not help but be intrigued by the profession when Cressida has spoken so highly of it. In the end, everything worked out rather happily for me. But the same cannot be said for you, Saga. I thought when I stopped being a demon queen, my thirst for revenge would die with me, but it did not. You inherited it from me. You made quite a nuisance of yourself during the last 2 decades while I have been away. You really are naughty. I'm sorry, Gunhild. Saga sniffles. If I had known you didn't want to fight any longer, I never would have done all this. But I didn't know. I had no way of realizing. I thought you were dead. We all thought you were dead. I was so upset so very long. You were the center of my world. Without you, everything was cold and dark. Why didn't you let me know you were still alive? If you had, I wouldn't have felt so bad. Then it sighs. I suppose I should have said something, yes. It was in response to me to abandon everything with nary a word of explanation. I thought it would be better for me if I made a clean break from my past. I wanted to leave all my evil doing behind me. I didn't want to be reminded of all I had done and all the pain I had caused. I wanted to be free. But I see now how thoughtless I was. I should have known that you would worry. I didn't stop to think. I didn't realize that you loved me so much. But now I see how devoted you are. You really are my best, most adorable disciple. You're clumsy and you're not particularly bright. I remember scolding you often in the past. You tried my patience, but you never abandoned me, no matter how cruel I was. You were able to. You were always by my side. I'm sorry that I deserted you, and I hope you can forgive me. Now? Gunny smiles fondly and holds out her arms. Won't you let me dry your tears? I know I made you cry many times in the past, but I have turned over a new leaf and I no longer want to cause anybody pain. I've done quite enough of that already. My lady. Oh, my lady. Oh, of course I forgive you. I forgive you anything. I love you. I love you more than anything. Yeah, that Todd actually scared me a little. No. Yeah, because the sound made me jump a little, but not scared. I do believe that's gonna be the end of this episode, because there is actually quite a bit left as far as I know. So that was all I have for Sakura Night 3 this time. So hit like and subscribe, and see you next time. Bye bye.